Alright, I'm going to show you how to build this plane. This is the simplest plane I can think of that still flies pretty well. It's made of cardboard, it's got a wingspan of 30 inches, I think it's 15 inches long, and it's very simple. It took me about 7 or 8 minutes to build. So, first thing you need to do is cut out these shapes out of cardboard. These drawings aren't to scale. The grain of the cardboard should be in the span-wise direction. So the first thing you got to do is put the two big triangles together and put some pieces of tape on them. And make sure you stretch the tape as you put it across the cardboard just to make it hold nice and tight. So put one on, then put a couple more on, then flip it over. And I'm building this in a cold garage, and I'm about to hot glue this big square piece of cardboard on. So I used a hot air or a blow dryer to warm up the cardboard a little bit, just so the glue stays gooey until I put the square piece on. So you put that on, line it up with the top corner of those two triangles. Now take those two long rectangle pieces, those are going to be your elevons. And then take those little square pieces and glue them to the inboard edges of the big rectangles. These are just going to be reinforcements for your control horns. That's where the control horns will go later. I'll set those aside. Take the rest of the plane and grab your motor. So mine is mounted to a little piece of fiberglass. Angle piece that I made. Now just look at where you want that to go. Mark where your propeller is going to go through the plane and cut out a slot for it. Once that slot's cut out, take your motor and stick it on however your motor mount works. Mine's really simple. Since it's that angled piece of fiberglass, I can just hot glue it on. And that seems to work pretty well. Alright, now take your elevons and butt them up to your plane with the reinforced side on the inside. And then you're just going to put a strip of tape across the full length of each one of those. Do the same thing for the other side. Alright, now stand the plane up on its nose and bend those elevons up or forward and put a piece of tape on the hinge with the elevon bent. This is going to give it a bunch of extra strength. If you just had that top piece of tape, it would come apart pretty easily. Doing it this way, it stays together like forever. That gives you a really nice hinge. Now make sure you flex those, break them in a little bit, otherwise it might be too much for your servos. Now take your vertical stabilizer, stick it on your plane where you wanted it to go. I had mine overhanging about 1 inch off the back. So it was, the end of the vertical stabilizer was flush with the end of the elevons. Mark where you want that to go, and then cut out a slot for it, just the width of the cardboard. Once you've got that cut out, make sure it fits, and then hot glue it in. And just make sure it's straight, otherwise it's going to make your plane turn. Once I had that in there, I reinforced the joint with some extra hot glue. Now I'm gluing down my ESC. If you don't know what that is, that's a speed controller for the motor. Now I've got my servos, and I'm going to cut a little slot in each one of these reinforced patches for the control horns. Now for control horns, all I use is a popsicle stick with most of it cut off and then a hole drilled in it. Cut at like a 45-degree angle. So once you cut those slots, just stick your control horns in and put a little hot glue on there. Now I'm going to mark where I want the servo to go. I'm just going to cut a hole there. And then just pop the servo through that hole that I cut and put some glue on there to hold it. Do the same thing for the other side. Now I'm just gluing down my servo wires so they don't go anywhere. And that's it. Now all you have to do is attach everything to your receiver and strap your battery on, and it's ready to fly.